Boy, the Reignite trilogy sure looks a lot different than I remember it. I mean, it has been a little while. I just don't remember it being this pixely.
I forgot that Universal were the ones who originally owned this.
I don't remember there being an Insomniac Games attached to this brand name.
Fix that sound.
Yeah, that's the thing, Logan. Like, back in the day, Universal had both Spyro and Crash.
Yeah, now it's all Activision.
Yeah, where was that?
That was Activision bopping that dinosaur one hard.
So yeah, no, in reality, folks, this isn't the Reignite trilogy. We're heading right back to the originals with Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage, mostly as a sort of appetizer for when we eventually do the Reignite version proper, because yes, it has been a very long while, and we do apologize for taking so long to get to it, but have you seen our recent backlog?
There's a lot.
Yeah.
Otherwise known as Gateway to Glimmer for those in the UK.
That's also true.
Look at the sheepy.
Because, fun fact, Ripto's name is actually based on the Japanese hardcover of Spyro the Dragon, where his name is spelled to resemble the English word R-I-P-T-O.
So, oh my god, you mean this entire time Ripto is basically meant to be like Spyro's like Wario?
Wow! Something like that.
I guess you could put it that way.
Like in terms of how they spell him, so it makes him almost like an anti-Spyro or like a...
The anti-Spyro.
Wario hates dragons!
It's either Ripto's that or Ripto is fake Crash, but for Spyro.
It sure was nice for that toad to sell me a few bombs.
So yeah, let's get to brass tacks, ladies and gentlemen. Ripto's Rage takes place in a brand new world far beyond the realms of the Dragon Kingdom.
This time we're finding ourselves swept away into the mystical realm of Avalon.
Calm down, Hunter, and stop fidgeting.
That was fidging.
Far away from any sign of dragon kind.
Yep.
And they spit fire like this.
Ew.
Quit doing that, you weird-looking cheetah, you. And, fun character.
Stupid pussycat.
Know it.
Yeah, they definitely went a little bit more out with the cinematics in this one compared to the first game.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is the sequel. It's supposed to be bigger and better.
In many regards, it still is.
Also, notice how they changed Spyro's teeth.
Which way's the...
And his voice.
Yeah, instead of Rocco, we're having what's his name? Heifer.
SpongeBob.
Daring. Haven't
No,
you guys
Heifer.
ever seen a dragon before?
Yeah, like, it does work because, like, they both were, like, the...
Problem with that pussycat?
Whoa, 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 whoa!
Which means
Hey, who
logically...
did that? Whoa.
Oh,
Well, someone forgot to invite me.
Captain Blue! You don't look blue at all.
You look kind of orange.
absolute best Muppet in all of Spyro-dom.
Huh?
Dragon?
Emphasis on the dumb.
To Avalon? I hate dragons.
I will say, listening to him here, it's super interesting. Go get him, Zoe.
What?
Zapping him in the butt.
Kill it. Kill it.
I will say it's super interesting to like. Oh,
Do I get him, boss?
Well,
oh, got him. Oh,
you got that?
Go, you imbecile.
See, I told you that it
Explode,
exploded
yeah,
in
you're
his gut.
but yeah, I was gonna say it's like it's super interesting to hear the differences in how the same actor played Ripto here and in Reignited, because he did give a little more like variety or different inflections in the new one.
20
Yeah.
years is going to do some things to your voice.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give him credit for really,
Understand our world.
Greg Berger really didn't skip a beat as Ripto for the Reignite trilogy, and Spyro, honestly, the differences are like night and day.
Hey, wait a minute.
Of course.
In retrospect, I kind of wish they got Maurice LaMarche to voice Ripto for the remakes, but it's okay.
It is what it is.
Can I ask,
Now
like...
then, actually, hold on real quick, Hype. Before we do begin our adventure, as always, I gotta make one very important change.
What?
Eh?
Where are you
Is
going?
it options? No, it's not in the options. Oh, here we go. It's in the sound. Let me
You didn't
just
turn the map
down
on?
Turn down the music,
Oh, you actually are gonna go with
put
that.
on the cassette
like,
player, and there.
Hold on. You didn't even turn the map on.
Hi, Spyro.
I kind of glanced over, to be honest.
It's okay. Hey, Pogo, we don't need the map. We don't need the map on.
I
And what's
do.
happening here? And what's happening here is a bit. It's a bit
Wow.
of a thing between Icky and myself because we had kind of a war recently.
You mean Nicky and James?
And I
I was on
won.
James's side. Well, I was on James's side. But I wouldn't have to pay, so it's Mickey
So,
and
at
him.
At the time of recording this, folks, we are in the process of recording the Reignite version of Spyro 2, and so far we've been getting pretty far. We've actually beaten Summer Forest as of this recording.
I'm having a whale of a time.
However, Iki, being the absolute purist that he is, refuses to use the reignited version of the game soundtrack and has opted for the original.
It's overall inferior.
So I'm going to get back at him by playing the original game with the reignited soundtrack.
Yeah.
And honestly, especially since it is by the exact same guy using the same composition, just toning it up for current sound cards and current instrumentation,
It's not the same.
it works just as fine. It works just as fine in either direction. So thank you, James.
Am I allowed to say the thing I was going to say?
Yes, you are allowed to say the thing now. I'm terribly sorry about that.
That's fine. I wanted to go back to what Iki was talking about, like, because I am curious. Like, you were talking about that you would rather have had Maurice LaMarche voice Ripto in the remake. Is there any reason why you want Maurice in particular?
His voice just sounds like it's better suited for Ripto than current Greg Berger.
When
Which
was he,
which sounds really weird, but like it sounds like more Ripto-y than the original Ripto.
I will say that. I will say, Iki, if it were like...
Also,
if it
they
were,
do that in the original too.
Yep, they do. And I will also, and I will honestly say, Iki, I would have agreed with you there if I, didn't see how, Greg Berger would put his, new portrayal of Ripto into practice.
Yeah.
Like, with just the concept art, I'll totally agree with you. It didn't really, feel like the kind of... Like, how would the original voice of Ripto really fit a very, as the internet would quote, sexy version of Ripto?
I hate that freaking tweet so much. The oh my god, he went from plan to like what was it?
He
like,
went from a Muppet to a heartthrob.
and the person and the people
What?
were like what? Why are you saying this out loud to yourself? Did you realize you were having this thought out loud when you were tweeting? Or
It's the internet. You know they
yeah,
have no
I was gonna
shame.
say who's chasing who? Yeah, there you go.
Can I just mention, I still love how this game looks, even on PS1.
It definitely, for its time, it definitely did try a few things. They are very interesting. I will definitely say, though, this is not an art style that appeals to me all that well, especially compared to the original game that felt a little more consistent.
I mean that's fair, but I will say that as we're going to see from start to finish with the Reignited trilogy.
Ah, you must be the dragon everyone is talking about.
He sounds
Well,
like my
dragon or
grandpa
not,
in this
I'm afraid
version.
there is a small key to open the bridge.
He really does actually.
That explains it.
100
What, you know my grandpa?
No, I'm saying, but I mean, I can see that. Like, I could see it. In any case,
You'll have to pay up sooner
I know.
or later.
I was gonna say we'll see from start to finish.
I have to
The
look
looks may
after
be a little
my,
bit dull, but I think the
Avalon's
gameplay itself still
financial
holds up.
well-being. You know.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, okay, to be fair, that's honestly a point where I'm going to disagree with you there, because replaying this version after having, more experience with the Reignite trilogy, Spyro was very stiff in this version.
Oh wait, but this was back before analog sticks, wasn't it?
This was right on the precipice where they actually added in analog control stick support,
Right.
Oh.
but it still has Spyro move in 8 directions, according to like a D-pad.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. It was not free. I see what you're
Again,
saying.
eh? And with
They
plenty
didn't
of
incorporate
treasure.
like full 360
Would you like
control
me to open
movement
the crate?
until Spyro
Won't
3
even
I want to
increase
say.
the price.
That would explain why I had the most fun playing that one.
That, and to a much greater extent, the Reignite trilogy, which I just think is Reignite Spyro just makes PS1 Spyro feel like a grandpa.
It genuinely makes me like want to. You know what? I'm gonna turn on my I'm gonna install it right now as we talk.
Okay.
Because I do feel like in the mood for playing these. At least Spyro 1, like the games hold up so well. Hype, what do you feel about Hype? Did you play these? The original ones of these?
Try using triangle to look around
But
this
out of the trilogy, 2 was definitely the one I've had the most exposure with. However, it's mostly through the demo of it that was attached to Crash Team Racing.
And what did you think of it from that demo?
I liked it perfectly fine. Like, the demo had, was it Colossus, the one with
It was
the Yeti that gets...
Colossus.
Okay, yeah. The level was Colossus. I had a lot of fun exploring through it, and it's like, it definitely... Like I mentioned before, I definitely appreciate what Spyro tries to do with its gameplay, and it is something I can get behind. The only reason I personally prefer Crash is because just at the end of the day, I find that Crash's roster of characters and locations just kind of appeal to me more, and just in general, I feel like Crash just kind of has a little bit more personality.
And that's pretty much where my sentiments lie as well. Like, I do, like, make no mistake, Spyro was definitely, you know, one of the top tier 3D platformers of its era, and, I mean, to some degree, that still holds true, even now when we have the Reignited trilogy, but, you know, it's just one, I would say compared to the...
I was about to say... If you were about to say, like, Spyro was one of the top tier 3D platformers, and I would respond with, are you fucking stupid? It still is.
Well, now, with the Reignited trilogy here, though, I can't believe I'm about to say this. I shouldn't be saying that because I think it holds true. I would go back to either Banjo-Kazooie or Mario 64 before I'd go back to Spyro original.
Yeah.
Well, Mario 64, I was about to say, Mario 64, I can definitely get behind. I feel like you might get a little bit more divisiveness with Banjo. Like, I like Banjo, but I feel like there are some people that probably would prefer Spyro over Banjo.
I just like both.
I mean, there was nothing wrong with liking both. I just, for me, I said this and will continue to say this, is that I think just between the two, I probably was closer to Team Spyro just because I did love the collectathon feel a bit more than arcadey platforming.
Which is fair.
I mean, to riff off of that just for a moment, if you're going to be Team Spyro, then you can't be Team Banjo. You either have to be Team Spyro or Team Crash. Or should I say Crash Team?
Well, then, if it, you know, I'm just calling it right now. Whenever Splatoon 3 comes out and it brings back Splatfest, it's Crash versus Spyro.
Orange versus purple. Settle it in Splatoon. You'd be making the big buckaroonies, Nintendo.
I mean, hey, for all we know, maybe that could be a case where we can say, settle it in Smash!
Yeah.
No, settle it in Splatoon.
I'm trying to hold my breath for that, because I'm trying my best not to get hopes up at this point.
I know. We only have two spots left.
At the time of recording.
At the same time, something of note to think about is that, although yes, they said that no game after Ultimate would probably ever have a roster as wide and as varied as.
I love how the water graphic is static.
Yes.
Actually,
Yeah, you didn't notice?
Oh no.
what's funny is that, like...
Water's not moving.
Oh.
It is completely static.
Hello. We didn't get a chance to introduce ourselves before. My name is Alora.
Hi, Laura.
Hi, I'm Spyro.
Are you some kind of
Some
goat?
kind of goat?
I'm a fawn, you dork.
Dork.
Oh, sorry.
Well,
Did you meet the gym cutters in Glimmer?
But yeah.
Yep, this is 1999, everybody.
They called it
A talisman.
They gave you a
Just before the start of the
What,
millennium.
is it special? I just
Yep.
stuck it in the guidebook you gave me.
And, I mean, I think I brought it up before during, you know, Spyro 1's Reignited, but it's still impressive to me to see that, you know, Tom Kenny did return to the role for that trilogy, and just how much he stepped his game since his start as the Purple Dragon in this game.
Granted, he's had way more experience since.
I was about to say, it's really funny because, like, I had no problem with him coming back as the professor, because I feel like that's something he can do in his sleep. I was a little skeptical about the idea of him coming back as Spyro, because I feel like, particularly with how Spyro's been, like, as of lately, and just in general, I felt like he would have been, like, a little too old-sounding to pull off Spyro again.
Which is ironic, because he actually makes him sound a lot more youthful in the Reignited trilogy.
You can't
Yeah?
even keep track of your running shoes.
I like the Hunter being kind of like the dopey Knuckles kind of character.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
he
that's
still
right.
kind of is.
Well, yeah, although
I like him-
that does remind me, for freaking Hunter there.
Yeah.
It's funny because I do believe it was with this and the other games in the original the original games where Greg Berger voiced him as well as Ripto.
Right.
And then came the Reignited trilogy where they got Robbie Damon to voice him instead, which, nostalgia aside, I do think that was probably for the best.
It grew on me eventually.
Yeah, like,
but,
I was fine with, like, I kind of was with a lot of people in a sense of, like, it did take a bit to get used to, but I appreciate Robbie's take on Hunter, if for nothing else, on its own merits.
Yeah.
So, should we briefly go over the plot for this game as opposed to the first game?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, there's the brine texture, by the way.
Oh.
So, yeah, just to get the brass tacks real quick. So, this asshole named Ripto has invaded Avalar due to a quote-unquote accident caused by, you know, the current inhabitants of Avalar, that being Allura, Hunter, and the Professor. And now Ripto is, keen on trying to take it all over, even though, in the great scheme of things, he's only really trying to terrorize these main hub areas of Avalar. And everywhere else, it's pretty much business as usual for them.
Yeah, he just wants his banister up, nothing else.
And yeah, no, I'm with you, James. It feels like Ripto doesn't have much presence in the other. Like, it seems entirely incidental that chaos is happening with or without him.
Yeah, I would say that's the case. Like, the only reason we're going into the other levels is that apparently we need the talismans from those areas to defeat him, apparently.
It's earning the people of Avalar's trust to move on forward, closer and closer to Ripto.
Ripto in this game is the equivalent of a freaking schoolyard bully.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the whole humor behind him, is that, because, I mean, as we saw just there, like, he probably only acts all high and mighty because he has crushing gulp with him.
And even then, once we take them all out, he's all that's left. Which, I mean, to his credit, he does improvise without them, even if it only goes so far.
Yeah, there's that, and honestly, and I think it even holds up well in the Reignite trilogy. He still has probably one of the better boss fights between the trilogy.
Right.
I love how the frogs in this game, specifically the original, are literally just Michigan J Frog.
Yes.
They do look like it. Get him a hat and
Michigan
cane.
J Frog, if the eyebrows were, completely detached from their heads.
Hey, I want to ask you, Logan, because I don't know if we gave you a chance to talk about it. What is your specific history with Spyro 2?
One of those, early childhood memories where it's just kind of like you wake up one day and you realize you have all these CDs that don't play well in an audio, in a CD player, and you're like, what the heck, I gotta put this into something and see if it plays properly.
So he decided to put them into the waffle iron.
Well, I put it into the PlayStation 2 because I never owned a PlayStation 1, and put it into the PlayStation 2, played pretty well, and I was like, whoa, these are actually, pretty fun, and I ended up going backwards. I ended up starting with Spyro 3, giving that a try, and then I tried Spyro 2 eventually, learning how to hover, which made my time in Spyro 1 a little tricky just because I got so spoiled with the new abilities you get.
You want to know the sad thing, Logan? I kind of have the same exact sort of, I have sort of the similar history with Crash.
Same.
Although with Spyro, I think I did mostly play that in order, though. Swap 2 and 3, and there you go.
Okay. I mean, they're all more or less, it's definitely not
I like how Hunter just teleports to this platform if you fail to
He wants to give us a help. He wants to teach us the brand new hover, which is incredible for, quick jump readjustments.
I will say as an aside, though, I know it was never the intention. It was mostly, based on direction. But I swear, listening to Greg Berger's Hunter here talking to Spyro about how this all works, it always felt so... Well, even now, it feels so... Is it just me that feels like this Toad is a little condescending?
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, first starting, they made it very clear that right off the gate, he doesn't really like Spyro, let alone trust him.
He's just a dope.
Yeah.
Because Spyro has claws like that and teeth like that. He spits fire like Tui.
I mean, honestly, to be fair though, all that aggro he has against Spyro was quickly dropped, so...
Yeah. He's just the jock rival friend.
Yeah, who forgot his running shoes?
Maybe they'll return in Spyro 4.
And just look at those eyes, man! Those fucking eyes!
Who is he? What's wrong with his mouth? This is Hunter, and we don't know. I have a disorder.
So, before I forget, we're heading on over to Colossus now. The first, one of two opening levels for the Summer Forest.
Technically speaking, Glimmer was the first level, but whatever. Ooh! Intro cutscene!
Yep.
Yeah, this is definitely something I will give to the Ripto's Rage, and even also with Reignited, they actually give you a little introductory of what to expect in this level.
Which they got rid of entirely for Spyro 3, and which is why
Yeah.
it's
Bunch
the
it-
inferior sequel.
Oh, real quick, I will be skipping this level, but I'll leave this at least.
Aww.
Oh yeah, this is the outro at least.
Kill that yeti.
Cue that yeti!
Beautiful.
Well,
Yeah,
you did it.
that's a shame, because I really wanted to show off this level.
I just love the supercut attitude of it.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was great.
I mean, don't worry. We'll definitely give this level a lot more love when we get to the Reignited trilogy. But for now,
You better believe it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moving on. But I'll keep this level in at least, just because it's the principle.
Oh boy!
Oh.
Yay! It's time for
It's the
Icky
good
Spooky
people.
level.
What is that, Time Squad?
Oh god, I almost forgot about that show.
Say, turns out this whole time I already had Spyro Reignited installed. I just need to,
Aww.
Man, Ratchet did not hit puberty well.
He did not.
Oh, by the
Like
way,
kings.
I wasn't kidding when I was talking about stuff while recording the Reignited version. Listen to this dude.
We've always had trouble with the gear grinders.
Oh
but
my
now
god,
they've
it is
set up
SpongeBob.
fields to separate us. It makes it
It's the principle of the thing. I have to show this off.
I think there's a diagram
And
around here
yes,
somewhere,
all
but
of these
my eyesight isn't what it
NPCs
used
sound
to be.
exactly like that.
Hey,
Let
can
me
I
remind.
ask?
Let me also just real quick. Let me also remind the folks that Spyro 2: Ripto's Rage came out the exact same year as SpongeBob SquarePants.
Okay, that actually
I
answered
feel
the question
old
I was about to
now.
ask.
Jeez, I feel old. I
I hate
forget
these
that.
robots in the original.
I forget that Spyro is that old.
Yeah. And Crash is technically a year older, isn't he?
2 years. 2 years.
Yeah.
Right. So we were talking about how you said either it was this game or the third game that introduced the concept of skill points. Was that this one or the third one?
It was this
It was
one.
this one.
So where would you find skill points without just being in the guidebook?
Yeah.
Just do stuff.
It's one of those. It's really one of those. It's one of those strategy guide sort of things. Or
Yeah.
you probably just discovered by complete fucking accident.
The only
Well,
thing you get from them in this game, the only thing you get from them is just like some pages for like a cute little epilogue scrapbook.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not required, but it's fun. It's a fun little extra.
That's fair. But yeah, all in all, as James has already no doubt proved, there's a reason why we're definitely going to be looking forward to doing all this on the Reignited trilogy, because I still believe that is the definitive way to play these games.
Oh, without a doubt.
Kinda, sort of.
Go
Like
on,
the
Icky.
visuals department, there's no comparison. Though I will say it feels like something was lost in translation, but I can't really put my finger on it.
Well, the first thing you've told us is that you absolutely despise how they changed all the NPC voices.
Yes.
I mean, and I'm with Kid Icarus in that it's kind of a like win some you lose some kind of thing. Some of them I think are just fine. Others, yeah, I guess
It's really
I do like
it's
the
really the
exaggeration
NP
a little more.
It's really only the NPCs where it gets a little divisive. The main characters I feel like are perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Alora and Spyro are still great. Hunter, again, I kind of grew
And
to like
I will
it.
say, as someone who always felt there was something off about the NPCs in the first place, I think that I'm one of those people that think the changes they made for the Reignited trilogy were mostly harmless.
Fellas, is that the purple guy from Five Night Freddy
No.
place?
Oh, that's the purple guy that was supposed to protect your PC.
Oh man, Emperor the Electrical got stuck in rock bottom again.
If it wasn't for this
I'd
Christmas
be
shit,
very
I
grateful.
wouldn't fucking work. The only it just sounded like he really sounded that ticked off in that recording just then.
It's just a side of SpongeBob you never expect to see until he actually does it.
You
So
know what's
how-
something that just
Go ahead.
it was just something that just occurred to me. So we've heard that from Tom Kenny. We definitely got a lot of mileage out of Doug Lawrence saying stuff like that a couple of times. I'm surprised no one's ever goaded Roger Bumpus to say stuff like that as Squidward.
He's very cautious about it. He is very. I'll say definitely he is very cautious about that stuff. When I last met him, how annoying is this quest to do in this version as was Reignited?
It's simple. It's very simple.
It's very simple, though I will also say it's a little tedious
Yeah.
and time-consuming.
Ugh,
And that
I hate
hasn't
when
changed
that
in Reignited.
siren starts up though. Like,
Why? What?
if I could go
Uh-oh,
into a
here
little
they
bit
come.
of backstory, when I was younger, I was absolutely pissed terrified of thunderstorms and loud blaring noises. So this level was basically a stopping point, and I had Dad do the level for me, so I didn't have to. Well, actually, no. What I would do is I would mute the TV and then play through the level properly until all the enemies were destroyed.
Also, say, wait.
Thank you, Spyro.
Because the robots make that wee wee noise when they
Right, the
whenever
siren.
they find
As a
you.
reward.
So what just happened there, James? For some reason, I remember for some reason, I think in the Reignited trilogy, it always felt like those things spawn infinitely, not only 10 you had to worry about.
No.
I may be
Both in
misremembering
the
them.
original and in the Reignited trilogy, there's only 10 of those, like, at maximum.
Oh, gee.
As long as you kill 10 of them, they'll
That
no
mouse
longer
sounded
spawn.
like a bat.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. I mean, honestly, I think what it is, Logan, is that I think the whatever those purple gear grinder thingies, I think they spawn a little faster in the Reignite than they did in the original.
It's more like they only really spawn when you're on one side of the map. Like, you know how there's like two distinct halves of that part of the level where there are generators on the left side and there are generators on the right side. Whenever you're plugging in the spark stones on the right side of the map, those goons will start spawning in on the left side of the map, only if you have those spark stones set up on that side of the map.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because they need something, you know, they need one of the generators to be active in order for the game to act as if, hey, free lunch over here, come and get them.
So.
Oh yeah. I guess we should probably bring that up real quick. I forget if we did or not throughout this or Spyro 1, but Iki will be covering Spyro 2 Reignited for us.
Damn Skippy.
Yep. So we're currently working on that.
Apologies for anyone that was getting their hopes up about me doing it. Like, the reason why I haven't is that, like, I've been kind of taking on, like, a bunch of projects at once. Like, as of right now, like, I'm the current director for Ask the Smashcast, as well as, like, my own videos for my voiceover stuff, as well as working more on some of my original content, which I'm really grateful that people have been enjoying my characters as much as they have been.
You're good.
That's good.
And Gui is occupied,
Not caring.
Yeah,
which
and
is
honestly,
shocking
and
for Spyro.
her
but
interest
yes.
in the series kind of dwindled after the dragons all, stayed in their respective realm.
Guarding this tower.
Yeah, it was fun enough. It was fun while it lasted, but we're fine. We'll just continue forward.
Well, a lot of it just has to do with the fact that, like, apparently what Allie went through was, like, she basically ended up going through, like, the exact same opinions that James has with the original trilogy, only instead of thinking that the first one's the best, it's more along the lines of the first one's the only one she likes.
Oh,
Really?
And the other ones were just not worth her time. She's not incorrect to think that. She's just different in that regard for how she thinks that. Anywho,
I mean, it's also a matter of the fact that I do recall, like, a long time ago, we were there to watch her play Spyro 2, and,
yeah.
she did give it an honest-to-God effort. It just didn't last.
Granted, Spyro 1 is a lot more open compared to 2 and 3.
True.
It
I'd
is.
argue, because
A lot more open, a lot more simple, and I would say that in some ways, I think that's what makes it the most accessible of the three, at least with Reignited, just because it's honestly a similar feeling I get with Mario 64, where it's very easy to just pick up and play, no strings attached.
I'd agree.
and there's no backtracking.
Correct.
That's
no
it.
no big cutscenes, and yeah. Now in terms of like Arcadian being and me feeling like, yeah, I'm down for.
Ow.
Try again.
Okay.
Nope. Try it again. No, you gotta take a hard turn. So
Yeah, I don't blame you. This is my least favorite part of this.
So I guess I should say, James, when we get around to it, should I also record? Should I also record like a look at of the original Year of the Dragon?
I'm, I mean, just for the sake of consistency, it wouldn't hurt. Although if you want to, either Iki or I could do that for you.
Looking
God.
back, is it just me or does Hercos remind you of the swamp level in Ratchet and
Oh,
Clank?
yeah, we
Going
gotta turn it
Commando?
off.
Swamp in the first game?
Yeah, the like the
Also-
first level you like have regular access to.
Think?
Wait a minute. You mean the one where Skid McMark's crash landed on?
No, I'm talking about Going Commando, not the original.
Oh, okay. Now that you mention that, okay, yeah, no, I see where you're coming from. It does kind of look similar.
Like you have the Megacorp building right here.
Right. Then you have like things on the
You have
side.
the
I can see it a
swamps
little
and
bit.
the rain out here.
Even though we finished that Going Commando thing not too long ago, it's still like I need to remind myself like I'm still prepping for Rift Apart and
Yeah.
Oh my god.
freaking
few more months from now.
up your arsenal when we get to it.
You can have this little trinket for good luck. If you have
Aw,
any
thanks,
questions
Mr.
about
Watt.
shutting down the factory, just ask me.
What did he say?
Hey, okay, where is it?
There.
The next glides get tricky. You'll have to use your hover maneuver to make them. Press the triangle button during a glide to hover.
At some
and
point or
get
another,
height.
I just expect him to literally just, go
Remember
into
to
a
press
spontaneous
triangle when
laughter.
you're very close to the window, or you won't make it.
I really do hear it.
No, you know what? It'll get to a point where the laughter will come out, but it won't come out of him. It'll come out of Spyro.
No, come out of Sparks.
I was honestly, I thought I had a slightly more mundane idea in mind where it just came out of his, antenna, because it does, emit that spark.
Oh, like a Tesla coil.
I can
Yes.
see it. So.
Now I got you now,
Wait,
Sponge!
hold on. You're trying
Branch.
100% this level, yet you leave the gems down there?
Yes.
I forgot.
We'll come
To be
back.
fair, that was an accident.
Hey, Mama James.
I'll
He'll
get
go
them. I'll
back.
get them.
So
Do at
well,
least
look at
show
that.
off the double jump glitch.
That was a
I
glitch.
don't. Because
What's
I don't
the
know.
double
I
jump
don't remember how that works, Iki.
Yeah, what is the
Basically,
double-
what you have to do is... Okay, so... As opposed to the first game, where if you try charging out of a jump, you'll aim downward. In this game...
The switch to turn off the gear grinder factory is in that room.
I'm sorry, this guy distracted me.
Noisy in there.
So you're talking about double jumping.
Yeah. When you jump in Spyro 2, you have, like, I want to say about 3 to 4 frames where you can start
That
up a
was
charge
hard.
before you hit the top of your jump. And
Thanks
Spyro will
for
actually
shutting down the
dash
factory.
upward.
Here, I found this stuck between
Huh.
the gears. You can
So
have it
you
if want.
effectively give yourself a double jump, which allows you to actually access stuff like the lighting the torches in Glimmer in the cave earlier. You could get it without having to learn to climb.
Ah, so at that
Huh.
point, that's just you going all, fuck you, moneybags!
Yep.
Away!
It's one of the rare instances in the game where you could actually, like, skip paying money.
Oh, yeah, but real quick.
Uh,
I did show this off for Iki's sake.
Look.
Ah, the rainbow.
Yeah.
Only
Yep.
available to, like, the only part of the level where you can actually see that thing.
Yep.
Except in
Yep.
the Reignited trilogy, where they just slap in the rainbow.
Into the skybox,
Hey,
which is
look,
still
it's a
fine.
thunderstorm.
But, and also silly, icky. Speedrunners have found plenty of ways to skip past money bags.
Such as...
None come to mind at the moment, but I'm positive that there's
Take
something.
my word
I
for it.
imagine that rat, like the squeaking it made, being Logan's
Yeah.
brain as he tried thinking.
And, real quick.
There you go.
There we
Sure.
go. Skill point earned.
Beautiful.
Woo!
Honestly, one of the easier ones to obtain in this game.
Yeah, I mean, they're all just all over the place in plain sight.
Yeah.
But, yeah, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, as we watch this gear grinder fall into an obvious trap,
Pretty, pretty, shiny, shiny.
Get him. Aww.
They sound like penguins.
Put it
and
in.
honestly, Iki, at first, before the Reignited Trilogy, I thought they were, like, freakish-looking penguins.
Kind
Me
of.
too.
Yeah, they're just
Until you
sitting
notice, like, the
themselves.
weird bear ears at the top of their heads.
Right.
I thought they were
Yeah.
supposed to be goats.
But yeah, that was still a fun little romp, and I look forward to seeing how far we've come in those many years.
As do I.
So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, as sometime in the distant future, we will be covering Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage, through the Reignited Trilogy.
Hope it's worth it.
Take
Till
care.
next time, everybody.
Trouble with the trolley, eh?